Hello, my name is Blade, and here's what I watched in February 2026. This is something new that I want to start on the channel. I'm always watching films, as you can tell from my hour-long year-end recaps. So I thought this would be something interesting to introduce to the channel and just give a shot. I also like the idea of this being something quick and easy I can do without getting on camera, and honestly I kind of love doing voiceovers and editing clips, so it's an excuse to do both. Two quick notes before I get into my February watch list. I'm going to be focusing on films that I watched in the month, yes, but I'm going to omit anything that just released in theaters or streaming because I already do reviews on those, so I don't see the point in putting them here. Secondly, I believe in giving credit where credit is due, so I wanted to make sure I include that I got the inspiration for this style of video from Karsten Runquist. I'm really sorry if I butchered that pronunciation. I've watched his channel for a while now, but I've literally never heard him pronounce his name, so oopsies. But I'm not going to rip off his videos by any means. I'm going to approach it in my own style, but his channel is where I got the idea from. Check out his channel. He's great. I started the month off with last year's Plainclothes starring Tom Blythe and Russell Tovey. Interestingly, I had vaguely heard of this film, but I wasn't super interested originally. Then and ended up actually playing at a local queer film festival, but I didn't get to attend. The past me that decided not to go is an idiot because I would have loved to seen this in a theater. I started getting ads for the film on YouTube once it dropped on Mubi, which is what got me to watch it.
They got me, gal!
But man, am I mad I'm barely getting around to seeing it because it's not a masterpiece or anything, but wow. The editing in this thing is great. It has these moments where the camera style cuts to a shaky camcorder style that really adds to the conflicting feelings of the main character and the sort of voyeurism going on in the story. As far as queer dramas go, this doesn't necessarily do anything new with the actual story, but as far as the filmmaking goes, it's really beautiful to look at and does some really cool things. This is something I see all the time when I'm searching for a film to watch, and it's always caught my attention, but this month I finally took the dive and gave it a watch. This film is such a hidden gem. The story pretty much follows the title. We follow Sasha, who is a young vampire that has too much empathy for human life to feed. For a while, her father accommodates her, providing her with a blood bag supply. However, the rest of her family eventually convinces him that enough is enough and she must learn to feed. Naturally, she struggles with this before stumbling upon a depression and suicide support group that gives her the idea to seek out people who want to die in hopes that consent will allow her to be able to feed comfortably. This film is just as fun as how absurd that concept sounds. I wouldn't quite call it a black comedy, but it's very much a comedic horror with very likable characters. Sasha comes across a bullied teenage boy who is just as endearing as she is. This is a really fun movie with a perfect timestamp. It doesn't overstay its welcome. I highly recommend if you're into fun horror. This film just randomly came onto my radar. I hadn't heard of it before, but honestly, I'm a simple man. I saw Rachel Sennett and Joe Keery, so I clicked. Now, this isn't a perfect movie, but there's something endearing about it. It's a very simple concept. It follows a young Italian girl who stumbles her way onto a movie set before being wrapped up in a night-long journey with the film's stars. Now, I know that could sound quite boring, but there's some cool elements here that weirdly remind me of The Fall.
He was French.
Are you with me, bandits?
There's these vignettes that break away from the actual movie to showcase the movie being made within the movie. I've never really seen something like that, and while they do go on a bit too long, I respect them for taking that swing. Rachel Sennett delivers a very fun performance, but y'all, Lily James is amazing here. She plays a high-profile actress with like kind of a cruel edge to her, and she's just very captivating to watch in this film. Not a movie to write home about, but definitely worth a watch. Also, Joe Keery, I did hear that you're single now, and I'm available. Just saying, just saying.
Saw it glitter as I grew and loved it. Why I never knew. I thought this place was heaven sent, but now it's just a monument in my mind.
So I had a double feature of sorts on February 17th with Emerald Fennell's Wuthering Heights, which I liked. Sorry, not sorry. Then I came home to watch Harris Dickinson's Urchin. This one had me intrigued since I did enjoy Dickinson's performance in Baby Girl.
You think I don't like power?
No, I think you like to be told what to do.
I was curious what his vision would look like, and I'll be honest, the story at times didn't keep me completely engaged. However, I do think this is a very promising debut. The story follows Mike, a homeless man, on his journey to sobriety and getting his life together. It's a really simple story, but Harrison makes a few interesting choices that gives this simple screenplay some oomph. There's a few sequences in this you don't see coming with a surprising yet cool ending. I'll definitely be tuned into whatever Dickinson crafts up next. This is a Rachel Sennett stan account, in case you didn't know. So, unsurprisingly, I really enjoyed her in this. But what I really enjoyed in Shiva Baby was the clear intent. This is an extremely simple but effective film. It takes place in one day at a funeral. A relative of Rachel Sennett's character Danielle has passed away, but during the funeral, she has to navigate several situations involving different relationships. I want to say more, but I genuinely think it's best to view this without knowing just exactly what's going to happen. It keeps it way more interesting. The most I will give you is that a man who she has recently hooked up with, and I mean very recently, ends up at this funeral and the chaos ensues from there. This movie is only an hour and 17 minutes, which I think is great. They understood that it didn't need to be stretched out to 90 minutes, which is something I really respect. This film makes you want to claw at your skin, but in the best way possible. Think Climax without all the acid, dancing, and neon. Climax, but make it brat.
A little more slutty baby, maybe?
Yes. Mysterious.
Chin down. That's good. Yeah. She's got something. Yeah. That's really incredible. Yeah. Let's get fucked up.
Speaking of brat, I ended the month with a bang after being tipped off by Charlie XCX. I've of course heard of Daisies before, but after hearing Charlie talk about it in an interview, I finally watched it, and wow. I see why this is a surrealism and new wave classic. 60 years later, and this film still holds up. The editing is bizarre and feels revolutionary even today. The acting and dialogue is so strange, but in a way that just makes sense. This film is honestly the definition of quirky and zany, but in the best way possible. Not to mention, the political commentary here is great and unfortunately still relevant. I don't want to be your typical film nerd and call this a masterpiece, but I mean, how can I not? Side note, Mia Goth really resembles Jika Cherhova. Or is it just me? Well, there it is. Everything I watched in February, omitting new releases of course. Let me know what you think of this type of video, if I should keep doing them or not. I wasn't so sure if I should, since I do the big recap video every year, but I don't know. I just thought it was something cool to try out, so let me know. But as for now, I will see you in the next one.